Well, it's looking like we're starting to see the power of the Trump endorsement fading. Donald Trump, of course, has endorsed Jim Jordan for Speaker of the House. Jim Jordan, the guy that, according to Liz Cheney and the January 6th committee, was the most deeply involved member of the House of Representatives in the January 6th coup attempt. Jim Jordan, who refused to honor a subpoena issued by Congress. Jim Jordan, who, well, we can go on and on, but Jim Jordan is not the guy that the Republicans have nominated to be Speaker. It is Steve Scalise, in defiance of Donald Trump. Now, Trump will probably be fine with Steve Scalise, too. Steve Scalise's main claim to fame is that he's the Republican from Louisiana who got elected saying that he was David Duke without the baggage. David Duke, of course, a big deal in Louisiana, the Grand Wizard of the Klan. But, I think this tells us something. And, we'll know they're holding the vote. They are kind of under the gun, in part as a consequence of what's going on in Israel right now. But we'll see where this goes. Meanwhile, George Santos, speaking of the Republican Party, George Santos is kind of the poster boy for the GOP. I mean, this is the guy who really, he really tells you what the Republican Party is all about. Grift, and more grift. He got busted. He's been charged. He already had 10 charges against him. Now they've added 23 more, 23 counts, including conspiracy and fraud. And this is amazing. According to this charge, first off, his campaign treasurer, Nancy Marks, has pled guilty or pleaded guilty to a felony count of conspiracy to defraud the United States by saying that Santos had this $500,000 loan in March of 2022, which didn't exist. It turns out, so where was Santos getting his money from? Well, it turns out that, people had donated money to his campaign, and to do so, they had to give him their credit card number and their, date of expiration and their address and the secret code on the back of the card. He used that, according to this charge. I'm not alleging this, the federal government is. He used that to buy things for himself. Seriously, his own donor credit cards. And then he lied to the Federal Election Commission about it. And he inflated the campaign's reported receipts. He's, by the way, at this moment, the only member of Congress who has not filed a report on his finances. He claimed non-existent loans, non-existent contributions. This is a direct quote from U.S. Attorney Peace. I don't know Mr. Peace's first name, but anyway, it says, as alleged, Santos is charged with stealing people's identities and making charges on his own donors' credit cards without their authorization, lying to the FEC and by extension the public about the financial state of his campaign. Santos also falsely inflated the campaign's reported receipts with non-existent loans and contributions that were either fabricated or stolen. The charge goes on to say Santos allegedly led multiple additional fraudulent criminal schemes, lying to the American people in the process. The House Ethics Committee is looking into this. The House Ethics Committee has also reopened their investigation into Matt Gaetz. Now that is for, and I quote, a charge that Gaetz, quote, engaged in sexual misconduct and or illicit drug use. Now this is the trafficking teenage girls in Florida and giving them drugs. Shared inappropriate images or videos on the House floor. This was something that several Republicans actually complained publicly about. The Santos was walking around showing them on his phone video of him having sex with teenage girls. Not Santos, excuse me, Gaetz, Matt Gaetz. And that Matt Gaetz converted campaign funds to his personal use, that he accepted a bribe, an improper gratuity, or an impermissible gift. End of quote. Now, I threw some of my own words in there, but I think you can figure out what was what. So, you've got a fabulous fraudster and a sex pest chaos agent, writes Joan McCarter over at Daily Kos. Yeah, I think so. This is the state of the GOP, and there's no outrage. I mean, there's nobody coming out, going to the cameras and saying, you know, George, it's time to leave. Why? Because they've only got a 5-vote margin, maybe a 6-vote margin, maybe a 7-vote margin. It depends on who's sick and what days and all that kind of thing. But this is no way to run a party, much less a country.